Hi guys, this is Mrs. Hill. This is lesson 3 from our book, Educating Arthur. Today we're going to conclude our story. We're going to finish the last few pages of the story and see how Arthur did with his training. I hope you've enjoyed this book. It's a fun book. It's also an AR book. I'll post an assignment for you to take an AR test as well. But for today's lesson, this is the third lesson. We are going to finish reading pages 26 through 32. So we are going to look at the illustrations first. Here he is flying through the air. He's going after a newspaper. Here he is. He's got the newspaper in his mouth, and it looks like Grandpa is asleep. But Arthur, he's ready to roll. Look at this picture. Looks like he's sitting at the table in a kitchen. He's got himself some kind of stack of food there. Look at all of his people looking in the door at him. And that will conclude our story. I'm going to do a picture walk for you to take a look at just the illustrations from the beginning of the book up until today's portion. Just looking at pictures so you can remember and do a little summary of what we've read by looking at illustrations. So here's Arthur with the slippers all over the floor. Here he is helping Melanie with her bicycle. Oops. Here he is doing some gardening, planting some flowers, baking a cake. He's a hot mess in this picture. Here we meet the kitty cat. Look, he's digging a hole. Here he is tidying up his basket. Here he is talking to Grandpa. He brought the newspaper in with lots of holes in it. Here's Grandpa reading the newspaper, and Arthur in his basket reading the newspaper, eating his dog biscuits. So this brings us to today's portion of the story. So take a good look at this illustration. Arthur thought his new ways of helping were fun, especially the rewards. So early one morning, he decided to practice helping all by himself. He put his slippers away and tidied his basket. Then he ran into the yard to fetch the newspaper. Look at the bird and the caterpillar over here looking at him. Arthur went into Melanie's room for his hugs and dog biscuits, but she was asleep. He went into Grandpa's room for his hugs and dog biscuits, but Grandpa was asleep too. So Arthur collected his reward all by himself. So he went in the kitchen and he stacked himself up some rewards. All of these things, I think a dog would think that's a big treat. So that's the end of our story. We're going to answer 2 questions on our skill packet. The 2 questions we're going to take a look at today. What is Arthur's problem? If you go back to page 26, we will do a little review on the problem. So if you look here, he went out to get the newspaper. Arthur thought his new ways of helping were fun, especially the rewards. So early one morning, he decided to practice helping all by himself. He put his slippers away and tidied his basket. Then he ran in the yard to fetch the newspaper. Arthur went into Melanie's room for his hugs and dog biscuits, but she was asleep. Over here, Grandpa is asleep too. So because everybody was asleep, he went and collected his reward. So let's use part of our question to begin our answer. What is Arthur's problem? I'm going to start the answer. Arthur's problem is, and then you're going to fill in the blank with what you think his problem is. If you take a look again at the illustrations on page 28 and 29, Grandpa's asleep and Melanie was asleep. So I think that pretty much sums up what is Arthur's problem. Okay, so we restated part of the question to begin our answer. Arthur's problem is, and then you fill in the blank with the answer that will complete that sentence. Okay, so we restated part of our question, and then we plugged in the answer there from our story. Our last question, how does he solve his problem? So he is Arthur. Okay? And when you have a verb is an action word. When you have a verb, you have to change it to past tense because Arthur already solved his problem. So we're going to say he solved his problem. How did he solve his problem? So Arthur collected his reward all by himself. And then you're going to plug in the answer right here. And again, we restated part of our question to begin our answer, and then our answer becomes the information from the text that we use to finish our sentence. So using the few pages we read today, we will finish the last two questions on our skill packet. And then tomorrow I will read the book from cover to cover. I will post an AR test, and we will take that test as well. So I hope you enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to seeing your skill packets completed. Thanks a bunch. If you have any questions, I'll be available through Remind or through Google Classroom. Thank you.